What was at the beginning of time? Blei, goodness and purity, the sacred, the origin of the universe. One would name it Ublei, God, another one Kablei, goddess, and somebody else Kiblei, many gods. And everyone is right in a way. From Blei, the great Meira Meu, Mother Earth, was originated, and her husband Basan was created. And they lived happily ever after, only they didn't have children. Meira Meu prayed to the Almighty that he would endow her with offspring, and finally she got 5 children, 4 daughters, the sun, the water, the wind and the fire, and 1 son, the moon. And the world began to flourish, adorned with light and warmness, full of water and air. Then Meira Meu began to pray for someone who could wisely rule this world. 16 human families took the origin from Blei. They lived happily in heaven. They resided at the top of the universe and freely descended to the earth along the golden rope ladder, the heavenly umbilical cord, along the branches of a great tree, Jinkieng Xiar, growing on the mountain Ulum Sohpedbnenk. At first, the earth was flat. Forests grew on it, rivers flowed along it. But the time came and the great mother, Meira Meu, died. Daughters began to think how to bury her body. It should not lie in front of everyone. The sun, Kasngi, concentrated, sent heat and drought to the earth. The waters dried up, the leaves on the trees turned yellow and fell, but the mother's body lay motionless. Then Ka'um, water, caught up with the clouds, rained. The whole world was filled with water, but the mother's body did not move. Then the youngest, as the custom requires, Ka-Ding, a fire, brought terrible fires on earth. They covered forests, rivers and soil and swallowed the body of the great goddess. When the fire ceased, the whole earth was dotted with hills and valleys, on which later trees started to grow again and rivers flowed. People came to live here again. Since that time, hills and mountains remind the body of the goddess. Quarrels began among people, and once upon a time someone cut a golden staircase, cut down a great tree. 7 families at that time were on earth, and so they remained here forever, unable to ascend to heaven anymore. They began to be called Ki Hinyo Trep, 7 lower, 7 huts, 7 nests. 9 remained in heaven and became known since then as the 9 upper, Ki Khundai Hajrong. The goddesses taught the inhabitants of the earth to farm and get their own food, and also to perform rituals so that their connection with the upper world would not be lost. However, one more trouble was about to happen. A strange tree began to grow rapidly. The branches of that tree threatened to block all the light. Darkness was falling around. People tried to cut this tree, but at night the cannibal tiger secretly came. He licked the tree's wounds inflicted by people's axes. He wanted darkness to come to eat people easily. Taught by the gods, lumberjacks left axes at the nicks so that the tiger's tongue was chopped off. After that, the tiger vowed to take revenge on the people. Some time later, an event happened that separated people from heaven even more. At Nongkran festival, people enjoyed and danced all day round. But before sunset, they saw the sun and moon, sister and brother, also dancing together. Someone told them, "Shame on both of you," as if they were doing something immoral. There was nothing wrong or shameful, however, in this. The sun was offended and fled to the cave with oak branches far away, 12 years' distance from the abode of people. Darkness installed. Worried, people began to search for the sun, tried to beg her to return. The fall of mankind was evident to all beings, and the reason for this was ignorance, oblivion of the laws of nature. The world sank into sadness. Which one of the living beings will go to the Almighty to ask for a man? Nobody wanted to. Lastly, the cock volunteered. He reached the highest abad, spoke with Ublei, and begged him to help the man. However, a sacrifice was needed for this. The rooster itself was killed and sacrificed. Later on, it became customary to break eggs during the rites. Since then, cocks are dying for people. They assumed all their sins. People since then are estranged from the Almighty, who now speaks with them only in the language of symbols and omens. How do we understand those symbols? How can we learn a mysterious language which will lead us to the heaven? The idea that music connecting the earthly and heavenly worlds can explain a lot in the Khasi culture, as well as that the musical culture of this people is worthy of special attention, grew in my mind for quite some time. In 2011, I visited Shillong, the capital of the Meghalaya, met the professor of Northeast Hill University, Prabodh Jingan, the author of the study of the Nongkrem festival, the ethnomusicologist Lapin Shai Siem. In Calcutta, we talked with a musician and journalist, a connoisseur of contemporary music in India, Rahul Guha Roy. At the conferences, I met with anthropologists and folklorists of Meghalaya, Desmond and Queen Bala. Friends, rock musicians from Nagaland and Manipur, Arenla and Moa Subong and Laishram Momo, kindly shared their contacts and impressions of Meghalaya. But what you will hear and see later mostly was revealed during my musical journey itself. In February 2016, again I went to Shillong and then further to the interior parts of Meghalaya state of India to see and to hear musicians and their listeners, residents of cities and villages, so that to understand what kind of role music play in their life, their minds, their souls. My main companion became Genevieve Khonji, a musician, a friend of many artists, some of them are famous. Jenny plays various musical instruments, duitara, drums, harmonium, and sings well. Genevieve also takes vocal lessons from a Bengali teacher. I spent several days in her house on the outskirts of Shillong, where she lives with her old parents, 3 already grown-up sons and a nephew. Although everyone is busy with their own deals, study or job, they are very attached to each other. In the country yard of the ancestral home, there are stones with ossuaries of all family members, male vertical and female horizontal. All Meghalaya is dotted with small, so to say, Stonehenges. Stone columns of Mauniam are erected over the bones of the deceased, but there are also memorial stones, Maunam or Kinmau. However, most urban Khasis today are Catholic. Khasis maintain a special system of kinship. It is one of the few matrilineal and matrilocal peoples of India. The main kinship is being counted along the female lineage. The status of girls and women in this society is very high.
So I'll give you one song. Okay, the song was composed by my father. Actually, it is a folk song. So the song is about, it explains about the life of the Khasi people in the olden days. Life was so simple. The life they spend in the field. So after the work in the evening is done, so they would gather together, they sing song, they dance. So this song is Walat Reishtam Kisuk. Its meaning is, though they work hard, but they are happy. So the song goes like this.
From Guwahati to Shillong, about 80 kilometers along a good serpentine highway. On the roadside, people sell dried wild apples, strawberries, and all sorts of homemade produce. The road is rocking and brings you into a somnambulic state. Suddenly you realize it become cold and cloudy. It is raining. We are in another world, another space. Other people's faces, other clothes, other smells and tastes. Shillong is crowded. The streets diverge in various directions. The houses are molded one after another. Meat shops along the roads hang their goods. At the crossroads, people sell different types of snacks. The roadway is narrow and twists and turns. The city flows along the hills. Everywhere stairs. You go up and you go down. Cherries are blossoming. Music, songs, dances play an important role in the Khasi culture. Christian missions, which started to enter here from the 1820s, initially banned and destroyed it, along with the rites of the veneration of the ancestors and the worship of the patron gods of clans and families. At the beginning of the 20th century, a more favorable attitude towards everything traditional began to be developed in the local Catholic environment. Don Bosco's mission created an institution, Center for Indigenous Cultures, one of the tasks of which from the very beginning was the study of folklore, languages and ethnography of the tribal peoples of Northeast India. On the outskirts of Shillong, in Maulai, a 7-story Don Bosco museum was built. It represents the cultural diversity of the tribal world of the whole region. Books on the myths and religious ideas of the Khasis and other peoples are published here. CDs showing the musical culture are released. Western music began to come to Khasi through Christianity and church. Parish choirs were organized. People learned to sing psalms, and then some of them began to compose songs on the religious topics themselves. In the 1950s, in the auditoriums called Dinam Hall and Parish Hall in Shillong, modern music was played. The first was the band Kind My Boys. A little later, the Jaya Orchestra appeared. By the 1970s, 1980s, a circle of musicians who covered or imitated the Western rock stars formed in Shillong. Western music was rooted in Meghalaya's soundscape. Rock festivals began to take place in Shillong. Musicians and listeners came not only from neighboring Guwahati or Calcutta, but also from Bangalore, Pune, Delhi, as well as from many countries of the world. Shillong became the abode of rock, blues, country, metal, hip-hop. Now, in the city, you can hear the performances of groups like this one.
Don't let me down. Don't let me.
Today, music has no intellectual content. It lacks also lyrical aspect. The singer and songwriter Job Walang admits while reflecting on modern trends. Our songs were well written, rich in meaning and good in taste. Our era was the golden age of music.
If you go dancing and he holds you tight and lips are tempting on a summer night, your heart beat faster when the stars start to shine. Just remember, darling, remember you're mine.
Calcutta is a special place for the senior musicians of Shillong. They began to perform at her pubs such as Moulin Rouge and Trinkus. Trinkus was the gateway to the rest of India for us, says Henningson Rintatyang, nicknamed as the Hengelbert Humperdinck of the East. This Calcutta's Trinkus on Park Street was especially loved by such eminent musicians of Meghalaya as Toto Walang and Lu Majao as well.
I've known hunger since I was 10. Loneliness is my good friend. I've learned to smile when I feel sad. When I see good times turn them bad. I'm on the other side now, across the sea of sorrow. Yes, I can see the light now. I know where the wind blows.
The legendary musician of Shillong, Lu Majao, is sometimes being called the Bob Dylan of Meghalaya. He doesn't like it. It is not that I'm his fan, I simply salute this wonderful singer. He also loves and sings the songs of Leonard Cohen, Frank Zappa, Dean Reed, Tom Jones. Nostalgic, full of sentiments, reflections, songs about the beauty, about the unforgettable. We met at the Shillong Cafe, where he is a frequent visitor. A guitar hangs on the wall, and taking it, Lu becomes himself.
Can you please introduce yourself? Can you tell me a little bit about your family?
Lu Majao over here, from this village called Shillong, Meghalaya, a part of the northeast India. That's it.
About your parents, about your family, just what is kind of background you have? Who was your father, your mother?
Lu Majao was born to a man by the name of Raphael Thankiu. He's dead and gone. And then a mother, Felicita Majao. She's dead and gone. So
Lu was born in Mawlai on the outskirts of Shillong on April 14, 1947. A significant year for India. Poor childhood, the death of his father, a hunter, Raphael Tankim, just a couple of months after his birth. Oh, it was the envy of a good friend. Boarding school, the magic of the guitar which fell into his hand when the boy was 7 years old. At that moment, he felt himself complete.
What was the beginning?
The beginning was when I was in that orphanage, like I told you. So over there, the first time I saw this guitar. So when I saw that guitar, I just sort of fell in love with it. You can say love at first sight. Not because I know how to play, but just the sight of it. Something it's magnetic. It's so magnetic that, hey, it looks beautiful, So it looks beautiful, and when I touch it, and I kept it, I took it in my arms, kept my lap, I felt complete.
College, a profession of road and communications builder. But at the same time, Lou played and sang. He never intended to do this for his profession. But so it happened. People liked it. He founded the Great Society music band, which included Khasis, Bengalis and Assamese. But they always sang in English. Imitation? Yes and no.
What kind of dances? Contemporary dances? Western types?
Western types and, everything. Traditional once in a while, That's the kind of setup they use.
And when you start playing seriously, salute. And how it happened that you start playing seriously? How old was you then?
Seriously, I was always serious. There has never been a time that I was just fooling around. I could never think of, a moment or a time that I was just for the heck of it or just fooling. No, that's never been. Musically, see, like traditional, they have their own set, but the mother instrument, from what I've seen, is the drum. In every state, in every tribe, the mother instrument is a drum. Even when you take it down south, when you take it anywhere, it is a drum. So the Khasis in general is a drum. When the Arunachalis also, they have a drum. The Nagas they have, and the Meiteis, the Manipuris, for them they are fabulous.
Lou says that he never plans, never writes, just plays and sings. He has a firmly developed attitude towards sound and, most importantly, to what should flow through it. Goodness, tenderness, play. Music is everything to him, his religion, his world. It is this attitude, this place that music takes in Lou's soul, and that firm tenderness to preserve its principles seemed to me very resonating to the traditional Khasi music culture. To hear and to understand it, one must go into the interior places of Meghalaya, to the villages, to another world.
When I was young, much younger than now, I've learned to swear and make a vow. When I was so very young in my mind, I've learned to leave the past behind. I've known hunger since I was 10. Loneliness is my good friend. I've learned to smile when I feel sad, when I see good times turning bad. I'm on the other side now, across a sea of sorrow. Yes, I can see the light now. I know where the wind blows.
Genevieve and I listened to the rhythms and sounds of the city. But we slowly prepared ourselves for the trip to the village of Wakhen, in the very center of the Khasi East Hill district. One of the miracles still preserved in this and some other villages of Meghalaya is the name's melodies. Before the expedition to the villages, Genevieve and I visited two of her friends and neighbors. Both were related to music, albeit in different ways. Indab Khonji, a teacher of folk music at Martin Luther Christian University, lives in Shillong, but originated from the village of Wakhen. A shy young man, he told me many interesting things about his village and its musical culture.
Okay, my name is Ipndab Khongjiram. I'm from Wakhen village. Okay, and then I'm staying here, and right now I'm working as a lecturer in the Department of Music, Martin Luther Christian University. I'm teaching in traditional music. My father is from the Tensong clan, and then my mother is Khongjiram clan. And my parents are from my village itself, Wakhen.
What is this village famous for? Everybody says it's like a musical village.
Yeah, I think in the Khasi Hills, I think my village is, and I think it is the only village which can preserve the culture, the tradition, especially the music. Till now we're having a kind of festival once a year in my village. They perform a kind of festival which is called Shat Lungdo. That means we pay homage to the to a god. Okay, we call it Lungdo, so that they can.
Linda. What is special about the music in this village? Did you say that everybody has a special tune? Every people. What is this? Can you
in
describe?
my village, everybody from childhood till the elderly person, they have their own tune. Instead of calling the name, they call by humming that tune.
How?
And that means we just hum. Okay.
For example.
I call to my younger brother, la 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 la, and then my younger brother, when they heard that tune, that means they understand that I'm calling to him.
So different tunes,
different.
calls means to different person, no?
I think this kind of tune it represents as simple the same thing as a name. Instead of calling "Hey Ginny," and then we call it by tune.
Some other example. Can you give some other examples of tunes? Somebody you remember some other tunes?
I'm the tune, okay. La 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 la. This is the under tune, and then the other one, la 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 la.
So both girls and boys.
Yeah.
How they have been created? Suppose the child was born. So how the tunes is created?
The first thing, I think the mother or the father, the parents, when they get the baby, and then they on that time I think they are full of enjoyment, and then on that time they compose a kind of songs or kind of humming, and then it depends about that tune. It will remain the same. But for those people who have the talent, right? Even they create your own tune also, and that particular tune, the mother or the parents who have they already created, we call it Rwai Yaubei.
What is this musical instrument behind you?
one musical instrument?
This is Khasi sitar. Sitar. String instruments.
Can you show? Oh, how old this instrument?
I'm not sure. I think 9 or 10 years ago.
Oh, who made it?
One person from like Karhong area near the Smith site. Rising.
And many people play this instrument. How many people can play?
Only those people who have specialized in a string. Which means they play.
True.
No. There are so many people. And I think till now the famous sitar player, I think from Pantel. Because they are playing the Pantel Orchestra.
Sylvester Mukhim, another friend of Genevieve, whom we met at One Earring. His music became a real gem for me. A young man professionally selling furniture in one of the Shillong's firm, he draws romantic pictures and composes wonderful songs, combining Western sound with traditional melodies and rhythms. He admits he never studied music. He plays as he draws spontaneously. Sylvester and his wife Jessica are Catholic. A significant part of his creativity are songs about goodness, about the need to fulfill the sacred commandments. But Sylvester composes and sings songs to traditional Khasi rhythms as well. Mastie, revised in Rob.
Haki arsur babang alingin ya wailang bansakin mau ya kasni baterbang Rai ringkan ya kasur ngankin udai kasur bami nadu Aki surkin syok lang dapen wandur pen bang datu Yaki asurkin birenti Ngin waida kasur babang kasur kabalai Ringkat ki jeng tam sai bat kak sing ya dot nuot ban pen ki Haka Rai sen rob ngin pen klan ya kasur bakan long Karwai Kasiru kadon la ka jong ka jing sarong Melum ban ngap ya kasur bala pen wan basur ban sa nam balar wa ki batnya Ngan raya sur ning kong pi bala kre tu long da sur ba arya jing rai ban pen pong Ngap jing ken tak jong kak sing ba pen yo ya jing thâu ka sur kum ba la tho Da ki wat chu yang bai terbang ru da ken tai pan so tum na ki bas ngap ki ba pe ar sur ha kani kalum pung pen kya bagin sei kan sa nam sa ker teng sur khasi ru te kan pa per thai Haka Rai sen rob yen pen klan ya kasur bakan long Karwai Kasiru kadon la ka jong ka jing sarong Melung ban ngap ya kasur bala pen ban kasur ban sa ambala rai pi batnya Melum ban ngap ya kasur bala pen ban kasur ban sa nam balar wati batnya
Wachen. A trip here is like a path to another world. One of the miracles still preserved in this village and in few other villages of Meghalaya are the name's melodies. Fogs, clouds, drizzle, smells of soil, trees, bamboo. Tea collected from local plantations is unusual. It is full of the tasty clouds. The village hides itself on a hillside. Each house exists in its own special space. The landscape does not make it possible to see a neighbor, and people are echoes of sounds and melodies. There is almost no electricity in the village, nor is Christianity here. The resistance to Christianization is also a part of Khasi's history. Today, about 40% of the local population adheres to traditional ideas and practices, collectively called Niam Khasi. Lingdo, priests of traditional religion, perform rituals in honor of the gods and goddesses of the clans, participate in family celebrations. Gods and families are closely intertwined here. We are going to visit a house of one of Genevieve's relatives on the maternal side. Khasis are the only native speakers of the Mon Khmer language in India. Either they came from Austrian or Austroasian peoples and related to the Cambodians, or they once perceived their language most likely in Burma. Khasis are the mound dwellers, and they've always been opposed to the inhabitants of the plains. Komik Kongjirem, relative of Genevieve, her maternal uncle, is one of the famous musicians, Dohalia. He perfectly plays various musical instruments. He is often invited to celebrations. But his house is here in a poor hut, far from the city and civilization. 3 Khasi commandments say, Ti Bru, Ti Blei, serving people means serving the God. Ka Maya Ka Hok, live righteously, follow your own path, whatever it may be. Tip Kur, Tip Kha, respect the customs of your clan and remember about lines of kinship.
Em kaway doon. Kaway pat. Bồn thờ lê thì hoài. Mana rồi?
Nông cái đi cái sườn khát bưởi vậy kìa, tao cái đó là cái trong cái khát này. Chỉ một cái cài về đây cái bưởi ông tu khát nó tu. Nhưng mà cái này anh
Tak ngap ke kata ra jong ke hoài. Ta ra jong hoài.
Very interesting.
Ang kujing ruwai siat ke bano ti. Ruwai no.
Chưa rồi.
Chôi chô la 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 le 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 le
Kata di jiro ayo.
nó cái gì rồi xí ạt cái áp sát cũng đêm không nào có đi áp sát rồi.
Besides the name's melodies in the village of Wakhen, the practice of making instruments is still very widespread. There are many hereditary Dokhalia musicians living here. At the ceremony of kingdom, Dokhalia play the role of maternal uncles in the family rites, the observer, the decision maker, and the counselor. But the true depth and complexity of traditional Khasi music has become clear to researchers quite recently. The main maternal Khasi instrument, as Lumajal said, is a drum. Drums, ksing, are divided into male and female according to the type of sound created. As noted by Lapinchai Siem, there are different instruments for playing music at family celebrations, at village functions, at rites of territorial districts, right, and at the ceremonies of kingdoms, Hima. Khasi's wind instruments are represented by variety of flutes and tangburi, oboe, flageolet, the sounds of which are needed for dancing and for funeral processions. There are many string instruments and each one has a legend. Each one also had its own specific task. Lyric songs were accompanied by playing a homely, intimate instrument, a 4-string tuitara, suitable for courtship. 4 strings symbolize, respectively, youth, mother, father, and maternal uncle or grandfather. By the way, there is a string musical instrument entirely made of bamboo. Roy wrote about the art spreading among Khasi in 1933. Charmingly, they can string real and imagined events on the thread of narration. Almost all of the songs are associated with a specific space and are able to adapt to the present day. Khasi's songs are deep in reflection. One traveler at the beginning of 20th century even noticed that Khasis scream and dance when they are happy and sing when they are sad. Musical innovations can be found not only in Shillong. I remember an interesting instrument, a sitar, which I saw in Pindap's house. He mentioned the orchestra from the remote village of Pinter, which has gained some popularity. The young man, Shibor, gathered traditional musicians, Dokhalia, and all together they compose peculiar music.
I'm from Pinter village, Shibor Maukon. Yes, I'm from Pinter village, and then we have a band named the Pinter Orchestra. But now we have only 3 of us. It's only my sitar, and then Maringot, and then we have Sing Kantai and Sing Chinrang also. We are not professional. We didn't learn about music, but we just born to be a musician, I think. Then we just played our own style, our own traditional style only.
So you know about the folk, Khasi folk music,
Yeah,
Khasi
only
tradition.
folk
How do you know? Did you study it from some elder people or in some institute, some education?
No, I just learned by seeing and then
Seeing or somebody even tells you story like a story.
yeah. Pantai Orchestra was organized in 2003. We had formed it in 2003, and then it's with the help of one organization from Shillong, HTCWO. Yes.
Shibor, as it turned out, has no musical education, although he loves to sing and has been singing since he was 12 years old. He's a self-taught person. He plays various string instruments, listens to what is being sung and played on the internet. He especially likes the classical Indian instrument sitar, which play manner is copied on his sitar.
This is a sitar. Sitar is like a sitar, but sitar has 5 strings only. The tuning also is different with sitar.
Can you just play a little bit? Can you show how it's been played?
Just let we play together. It's better to play together. And this one is Kaksing Shinrang. Kaksing Shinrang is like male toms because we have Kaksing Kentay and Kaksing Shinrang. Kaksing Shinrang is like male toms because like in drums we have kick, we have toms, and then for kick we have nakra, that we call kabom, and then for toms we have kaksing. But they has a different skit, different pattern. Okay, now I will play a little bit instrumental about one Khasi, a popular song, it's a very popular Kanriya Muknat. This is we go with Kaksing Lenti. This one is masti. This pattern is we call it in Khasi masti. One song about one very famous boy who is called Susutham.
Fusion music in Meghalaya sounds differently, but especially interestingly in the songs of Narimpe music group. The name of the group is based on the image of the fireplace, Rimpe, which also means sources, roots of each person individually and of the entire Khasi people.
My name is Adalbert Dakhar. I'm a band member of Narimpe and he's Benedict. In fact, we are 5 core members, so today we just 2 of us are free. So we'll just brief you a bit about the band. The journey started way back in the 90s. Okay, in the 90s, we were known as The Voices. The Voices, and it is a vocal-based band. We sing without instruments. Western. No, it was Western. And the journey continued, and it was in one of the concerts in Mumbai, which we believe was a turning point for the band. The mother of all concerts in 2001 most probably, no.
I don't remember exactly the year, but
so the band was called to perform. Okay, so all the bands came, and they had to perform, and we performed. We realized that when we perform English numbers, the appreciation from the people, from the public at large, was not very warm. Okay, so we got a lesson from one of the bands, Bombay Black. It was Bombay Black. They told us that you guys have the potential, but do that is unique. Show what do you have to the world. Show, go back, think about it. And so that was when that thing set in. We came back, we sat down. Then as time progressed, maturity also set in. Okay, then we started thinking we should try to show our own culture, our roots, our history through music. That was then we started thinking, and with like-minded friends with me, Benedict, Maxter, Ronnie and Andrew. Okay, that was very late back then. So yeah, so we decided to name the band Narimpe, No More Voices.
Yekiriu seluruh kon dap senrang keribar kejaj benreu. Mengin say gawat, ngin say geste, ngin bayu nongway nong ar, ubenod ban wan len shop, ya kan egri ba jengi da ka jingdom. Go! Go! Go!
Sim sharang kaya da kam island kasau kasian kaya be kashtang katau kasawa kashong shkan kirang ya darong ya le ramen sim tap sharang keep it crown
Narimpe means from home. Okay, because why? Rimpe in Khasi is the fiery hearth. We burn fire in the middle. And every Khasi family comes round the fire in the evening to sit down and listen to stories from their parents and grandparents. And they also teach us, pass on to us the oral history of our culture. At the same time, we are also taught the lessons of life, etiquettes, manners. Okay, so we believe that the fiery hearth is so central to our Khasi family that we decided to name our band Narimpe, from the hearth. So you start your journey from your family, wherever you go. Okay, you're bringing up which is so important, which is your parents bring you up. So who you are when you grow up is very central to that. So the journey continues.
It turned out that Genevieve is the niece of one of the Siems, the ruler of the kingdom of Milim, Latho Manik Siem. Khasi regions are organized in Hima territorial districts or kingdoms in some ways similar to the Swiss cantons. They are governed by rulers, kings, Siems, but they are being elected, and the power here is highly decentralized and limited altogether. Locals are divided into clans. The old traditions of democracy are being practiced here. There is no caste hierarchy. Darbar de Council is the most important power institution. Siem and Lingdo, king and priest, are socially distinguished and are believed to have a special connection with the divine world. Despite the serious illness of the ruler of the kingdom of Milim, we were welcomed at the house. We spent some time sitting and talking near the fireplace. Tea was served. We enjoyed conversations, mainly with the Siem's wife, school teacher, Regina.
I'm his wife. My name is Regina Karyam. That's all. I'm only a teacher.
And you are queen of Milim?
No, not in Khasi. Is Mahade means the wife of king. It's not a princess. Understand? In Khasi is different. Prince and princess is like only in from their house, their family.
One of the sisters of the king fell down in infancy and remained a dwarf. She hardly speaks, but she was looking at us guests with curiosity. The priority of the woman is obvious here. Although the male line is also taken in account, the maternal lineage, Kur, is the main thing. A well-known saint states, Longjai Ha Ka Kimpei, a clan comes from a woman. In addition to the clan, the second most important social and cultural institute of the Khasis is the clan house, transmitted along the female lineage. Ling is a household where the main person is a grandmother, Kalo Beitinrao, the youngest mother, since the eldest is a mythical ancestor, or rather ancestress. Then her daughter, then her granddaughter, etc. Men are divided into those who belong to this clan, Kur. After their death, their bones will lie here, and those who come, their bones will be given back to his Kur's ancestral house. The eldest daughters and sons are called Nongmich, living. They get married and either go to their spouses' homes or form new farms. Marriages are usually happening according to the mutual sympathy of the bride and groom. The husband comes to live in the mother-in-law's house, or the couple arranges a new home. The usual practice is that what a man earns before getting married belongs to his mother and her family. Kamai Linkur, earning money in the home of his own clan. After marriage, everything belongs to his wife and their children. If there are no children, then after man's death, his bones and his earnings return to his mother's house. Especially warm conversation I had with the ruler's sister, the eldest woman of the family, Bilti Maisiem, who, as it turned out, knows many ancient songs, a precious legacy of the Khasi families. Like the smoke of the home fire, they are able to rise into the heavenly world, turning into that golden staircase that connects the 7 on earth with the 9 on heaven.
Aku samlanang kendong lakari unyi ukong long samla kari khasi thei samla ki phu samki durjang phi bangan yo i ban nu en pen chiang dor các siar hi cả kham cordor akor jang phi ban nu jor tang shuri u yar neng kong ja sorry ki khem jas
sông tăng quay hạ bahar ipen krela ke lastar iwan khmut bane parhan tăng quay hạ balai bati deng usa perlai ban lek deng usir sing halabri halabasa kia sông gia thạch ngâu bà gần đây kia sông quài rang bà đi điều masa thai erpengat ba be jai jai renti kia trailan tu jem jai kisur babang puris kam ki khanatan.
Simba shenrang dari kadawa gading kabaklang manu banyada deki ranking stick kendai barengti ya lari lajong idan jengkit le kadang hati onjen rasa hitne kat padang yang kabonin Kambiang tangban syuhong karilaju kat bajing mut kasyong kenrong kadang haki unjen nasahit kat badang biang kaponin ye Kambiang tangban syuhong karilaju kat bajing mut kasyong kenrong kem dawat ka mentoy shimet kem dawat ka mentoy shimet ya kamalan itu ay ngin ya kamalan itu ay ngin indah kiale pelat kalong ram Yun long way kibe lakas ng kajang Bentur syakat malakari banda Yang bitlem salya na jingkin hikma Kadang haki umjer na sahit Kat padang biang